Is electric the future of motorcycles? As we've seen in the past few years, the push for electric cars has grown and grown, and we can start to see the trend for electric vehicles is starting to make its way towards the motorcycle world. Electric bikes are not a new thing. In fact, they've been around for quite some time. They're starting to become more mainstream, and more companies seem to be on the bandwagon. But not everyone makes a good electric motorcycle. Kawasaki has tried, but honestly, I think it was a pretty pathetic attempt. I'm going to talk about the main brands that I actually think are trying to make waves in this scene. Now, this isn't a video on whether or not electric bikes are better than gas ones. I don't think there will ever be a replacement for internal combustion engine motorcycles. That doesn't mean that electric motorcycles aren't good in their own ways. Considering that most people who ride motorcycles only use them for in-city commutes, motorcycles are the best way to get from point A to point B, especially in tight traffic. Bikes are a lot more maneuverable and they're easier to park. As regulation starts to catch up to these companies, they're starting to plan for the future. They're investing the resources and technology and engineering now. When the time comes, they'll be ready. The first company we're going to talk about is an electric-only company, and that is Zero. Founded in California in 2006, Zero is kind of the pioneer of electric motorcycles. Their flagship model, SRF, is a sleek street fighter bike that makes 110 horsepower and makes 140 pound-feet of torque, which of course is delivered instantaneously. It's a pretty cool bike. It's fairly quick. The biggest problem is its range, and at top speed, it's going to drain through that battery pretty quickly. They have a big range of motorcycles, from naked bikes to more dual sport and adventure style bikes. Zero bikes offer integrated apps, customizable rider modes, and level 2 fast charging, meaning you can go from 0 to 95% in about an hour. Now, one thing I really dislike about is the integrated apps. My vehicle shouldn't have to have a app to turn it on or control it. I think one of the reasons that EVs can seem enticing is the minimalist aspect of it. All I should have to do is put a key in, turn it on, and just go. While the customization might be nice for some people, I think simpler is just better. Next, we're going to be talking about the Harley-Davidson Livewire. This move did not work very well for Harley-Davidson. I mean, who would have thought this was a good idea? Now, it isn't the fact that the bike is bad, it's the fact that Harley-Davidson is core fan base and core consumer is they want bikes that look like they rolled out of the 60s. Harley-Davidson doesn't change much. Their motorcycles have pretty much stayed the same. When you take a company that sold loud, slow, torquey V-twins to people who are over the age of 60 for years, it's not surprising that a electric motorcycle didn't sell well. It sold so badly that Harley-Davidson kind of split from Livewire. Livewire is still owned by Harley-Davidson, but it's not pushed as a Harley-Davidson product. It's kind of meant to be on its own. Now, the Harley-Davidson Livewire, ironically, was probably the fastest Harley-Davidson ever produced. It delivered 100 horsepower and went 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. That's close to sport bike territory, and it had a pretty decent range of 146 miles. Now, Livewire also makes the S2. It's a more affordable urban option. It's supposed to be lighter and more nimble, and it's aimed for younger riders or newer riders. I think if Harley-Davidson lets Livewire continue to be its own thing and gives engineers and designers a little bit more freedom to do what they want, I think this brand could do pretty well in the future. But we'll just have to see. Next, we're going to talk about a completely different type of bike, and that is the Stark Varg. The Stark Varg is basically an MX motocross bike. If you thought electric bikes couldn't compete in motocross, this bike proves you wrong. With 80 horsepower, customable power bands, no clutch or gears, the Varg is built to outperform its gas-powered rivals. While I don't think this will ever replace gas motorcycles, these bikes are definitely cool. And if you ever watch any videos of people riding these things absolutely rip. The nice thing about this bike is you can pretty much adjust the power range. So if you have a newer rider riding it, you can set it to a lower power. So adjusting it to rider specification is pretty easy. The Stark Varg is definitely the best full-size dirt bike rival. I think the best electric motorcycles that are out right now are any Sur-Ron, Talaria, or E-Ride Pro. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Sur-Rons are basically a combination between a dirt bike and a mountain bike. They're a lot lighter than full-size motorcycles, but they deliver surprisingly a good amount of power. The truth is, they're in a class of their own. Sur-Rons and Talarias are the two biggest brands in this market right now. Instead of trying to compete with electric motorcycles, they kind of just created their own market. While brands like Zero and Harley are trying to compete with the streets, the truth is there's still a little bit of a legal gray area. These bikes, you don't have to have a motorcycle's endorsement to buy them. The truth is these bikes make a lot of power, and they can be tuned and modified to make even more power. Stock, most of these bikes can go over 50 miles an hour, And I'm pretty sure with some modifications like 72-volt conversions, these bikes can make it to 60, 70, even 80 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive when you consider that these bikes only weigh about 170 pounds. These bikes make excellent urban commuting bikes. Most law enforcement don't even bat an eye at these. The fact that they're completely silent, you can take them anywhere. And the best part is they're a fraction of the price of larger motorcycles. These bikes usually retail for around $4,000. Which is Honda Grom territory. These things are a lot more powerful and a lot faster than a Honda Grom. The community around these bikes is also quite positive, and they act as a great stepping stone from pedal bikes into actual motorcycles. As laws evolve and cities go electric, motorcycles won't be left behind. I don't think gas motorcycles are going anywhere, but what do you think? Do you think electric bikes are just a phase, or do you think they're going to replace gas motorcycles? As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.